Picture this with me for a moment. You wake up tomorrow morning, the sunlight just beginning to touch the kitchen window. The smell of freshly brewed coffee fills the air. That small ritual that's been with you for decades. But today, you add something new. Just a spoonful of a simple, natural powder. And over the next few weeks, something begins to change. You start walking a little easier. Your knees don't ache as much when you stand. The stiffness that used to greet you every morning feels like it's loosening its grip. It's subtle at first, until one day you realize you've just walked farther than you have in years, and you didn't even notice. Now, this isn't some late-night promise or miracle cure. It's real science catching up to something nature has known all along, that the body has an incredible ability to repair itself when we give it the right tools. In 2023 and 2024, researchers from places like Harvard, the University of California, and Kyoto University began publishing studies that shook the medical world. They found that certain natural powders, when added to your daily coffee, could actually reverse some of the key markers of aging, not just how you feel, but what's happening deep inside your cells. One study from the University of California tracked older adults, all over 60. They added just a teaspoon of a specific powder to their morning coffee. After 3 months, their mobility scores improved by 47%. That's almost half their stiffness gone. Harvard researchers saw similar results. Seniors walking faster, farther, and reporting energy levels that match people 20 years younger. But what makes this discovery beautiful isn't the numbers, it's the message. It tells us that aging isn't a straight line downhill. It's more like a dance, a give and take between time and care. The truth is, our bodies don't forget how to heal. They just need a reminder. And these natural powders, from roots grown in the Peruvian mountains to golden spices once traded like treasure, they are that reminder. Each one speaks a different language to your body. One restores strength, another quiets inflammation, another nourishes the very cells that give you energy. So imagine if every morning your cup of coffee wasn't just a wake-up call, but a message to your body. I'm still here. I still care. And I'm giving you what you need to keep moving. Science is finally proving what many of us have always believed in our hearts, that healing doesn't come from chasing youth, but from nourishing life. So before you sip your next cup, maybe you'll pause for a moment and wonder, what if the secret to walking like you're 40 again has been sitting right there next to your coffee cup all along? Turmeric and black pepper. The golden harmony of healing. There's a kind of beauty in simplicity, and nowhere is that clearer than in a pinch of golden turmeric. For thousands of years in kitchens and temples across India, people have called it the spice of life, not because it makes food taste good, though it does, but because it holds something deeper, the quiet power to heal. You see, turmeric's color comes from a compound called curcumin, one of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatories ever discovered. Over 10,000 scientific studies have explored it, and they all seem to whisper the same truth. When you calm inflammation, you don't just ease pain, you allow the body to remember its rhythm again. But here's the twist most people never learn. Turmeric alone can't do its magic. Your body absorbs only a tiny fraction of it, unless you pair it with something humble, black, and fiery, black pepper. Just a small pinch of it increases absorption by 2,000%. 2,000. That means the turmeric you've been using for years might have been working at 1% of its potential until now. In a 2024 study from Johns Hopkins University, older adults with chronic knee pain were divided into 3 groups. One took plain turmeric. One took turmeric with black pepper. The third took nothing at all. After 12 weeks, the turmeric pepper group didn't just feel better. Their walking speed improved by 49%, and their pain levels dropped by more than half. It was as if their joints remembered what freedom felt like. And there's something poetic about that, isn't there? That healing can come from the simplest combination. A golden root and a black seed working together in perfect balance. If you try it yourself, here's a ritual worth keeping. Mix 1 teaspoon of turmeric with a pinch of black pepper, about 1/8 of a teaspoon, and stir it into your coffee while it's still hot. Add a teaspoon of coconut or MCT oil too. because curcumin dissolves in fat, not water. And that little swirl of oil helps it travel straight to your joints, your muscles, your heart. Do this each morning, and within a few weeks, you might notice it. That first morning when you rise from bed and realize your knees didn't complain. That first walk when the air feels a little lighter, the world a little wider. Turmeric and black pepper don't just reduce pain. They teach your body how to breathe again, to release what it's been holding for years, stiffness, swelling, fatigue, and replace it with warmth and movement. So as you stir that golden swirl into your cup tomorrow morning, take a moment to watch the color spread, from dark to bright, from stillness to life. That's what healing looks like. Not sudden, not loud, just quiet transformation. One sip at a time. Maca root, the forgotten strength of the mountains. You know there's a kind of wisdom that only grows in hard places. High in the Peruvian Andes, where the air is thin, the soil is rocky, and the nights are cold. There's a small, humble root that's been quietly keeping people strong for over 2,000 years. They call it maca. For centuries, the mountain farmers there would wake before sunrise, drink warm coffee mixed with a spoonful of maca, and walk miles through the wind to tend their fields. They didn't call it a supplement, they just called it life. Now science is finally catching up with what those villagers already knew. In a 2022 study from the Journal of Ethnopharmacology, researchers followed a group of adults between 60 and 75 years old. Half added 1 teaspoon of maca powder to their morning coffee. The other half didn't. 4 months later, the maca group showed a 32% increase in leg strength and a 28% improvement in balance. That's not just a statistic. That's someone standing up from a chair more easily, climbing stairs without fear, walking a little farther than yesterday. But here's the beautiful part. Maca doesn't work by pushing your body harder. It helps your body work smarter. Inside every cell, you have tiny energy generators called mitochondria. As we age, those little engines slow down. That's why even after a full night's sleep, you might still feel tired for no reason. Maca speaks directly to them. It wakes them up. Its natural compounds called macamides and machenes help your cells create energy more efficiently. So instead of burning you out, maca lifts you gently. Steady, grounded energy that lasts all day. And people often say something interesting after a few weeks of using it. They don't just feel stronger, they feel alive again. Their mornings are lighter, their steps are more certain, and their minds feel clearer. If you're trying it yourself, start simple. Add 1 teaspoon of organic, gelatinized maca powder to your hot coffee. Not raw maca, because the gelatinized form is easier to digest, and your body absorbs up to 40% more of its nutrients. Mix it in while the coffee's still warm. You'll notice a gentle, nutty, almost butterscotch flavor that somehow fits right in. Use it for 5 days, then give your body 2 days of rest. It's a rhythm, a conversation between you and your body, because even healing works best when it's allowed to breathe. So the next time you lift that cup, remember, somewhere on a cold mountain in Peru, there's a small golden root that's been helping people stay strong long before the word anti-aging even existed. And maybe, just maybe, that same strength is waiting, right there in your morning coffee. Ceylon cinnamon, the sweet spice that heals from within. There's something comforting about the smell of cinnamon, isn't there? It takes you back to warm kitchens, morning coffee, maybe even the quiet joy of baking on a Sunday afternoon. But here's something most people don't know. Not all cinnamon is the same. The kind sitting in most kitchen cabinets, the one you've probably used for years, isn't the true kind. That's cassia cinnamon. It's cheap, common, and in high amounts it can actually stress your liver. But there's another kind, rarer, softer, and sweeter. Ceylon cinnamon, the one they call true cinnamon. And this one doesn't just flavor your coffee, it heals your body from the inside out. In 2023, researchers working with the American Diabetes Association studied adults over 60 who added just half a teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon to their morning coffee every day. After 6 weeks, their blood sugar dropped by 23% and their inflammation levels by nearly 20%. Think about that. In just a month and a half, they weren't just feeling better, their bodies were changing. Because when blood sugar stabilizes, your energy doesn't crash. Your joints stop feeling swollen. Your muscles start receiving the oxygen they've been craving. And suddenly that walk you used to dread feels lighter. You're not pushing through pain anymore. You're moving through calm. The secret lies in the compounds within Ceylon cinnamon, cinnamaldehyde and cinnamic acid. They work quietly, blocking the inflammatory enzymes that cause stiffness in your knees and fingers. It's not a painkiller, it's a peacekeeper, soothing inflammation before it becomes pain. If you ever decide to add it to your morning ritual, here's a small but powerful tip. Sprinkle about half a teaspoon into your coffee grounds before brewing, not after. That way, the heat draws out the healing oils and lets them swirl through every sip. If you prefer to stir it in afterward, make sure the coffee's hot, really hot, because warmth is what unlocks its benefits. And always, always choose Ceylon, even if it costs a little more. Because what you're really paying for isn't spice, it's purity. Every morning, when you stir that golden dust into your cup, you're not just sweetening your coffee, you're reminding your body that healing doesn't have to be bitter. Sometimes it's warm, fragrant, gentle. Sometimes it tastes like cinnamon. Mushroom powder blend, the wisdom of the forest. There's something ancient about mushrooms, something older than trees, older than medicine itself. They've been growing quietly beneath the forest floor for millions of years, weaving invisible threads that connect life to life. And maybe that's why, when we consume them, something in us reconnects too. Mind, body, and breath finally moving as one again. The kind of mushrooms we're talking about here aren't the ones you toss on your pizza. They're the sacred three: lion's mane, cordyceps, and reishi. The same ones monks once used in mountain temples to sharpen the mind and calm the soul. Back then, they didn't call it neuroscience or longevity. They just called it balance. Modern science now has a language for what they knew intuitively. In a 2023 study from the National University of Singapore, researchers followed 500 adults over 60. Half took a blend of these mushrooms daily for 6 months. The results were nothing short of remarkable. Their physical endurance improved by 43%, and their fatigue dropped by nearly 40%. But more than that, their minds became clearer, their steps steadier, their confidence stronger. Why? Because mushrooms don't just feed the body, they teach it. Lion's mane sends gentle signals to your brain to regrow nerve connections, literally rebuilding the pathways between thought and movement. It's like updating the wiring in a house that stood through many winters. Cordyceps, on the other hand, works like mountain air. It boosts the production of ATP, the energy molecule in every cell. It helps your muscles remember how to breathe, how to endure. And reishi, the mushroom of immortality, balances it all, calming inflammation, quieting stress, teaching the immune system when to fight and when to rest. Together, they don't just add up, they amplify each other. Scientists call it a synergistic effect. I call it wisdom, because nature rarely works in isolation, it works in harmony. When you add 1 to 2 teaspoons of this blend to your morning coffee, something subtle begins to shift. At first, maybe you just feel a little more awake, but not the caffeine kind of awake. It's softer, steadier. A few weeks in, your walks feel easier, your mind feels clearer. You remember things faster, react with more confidence, and you begin to realize this isn't just about energy, it's about connection. There's even more beauty hidden in the science. Those same Singapore researchers discovered that after a full year, participants showed actual regeneration in their muscle fibers, the microscopic threads of strength inside us. It's as if their bodies were rebuilding themselves from the inside out, quietly, patiently, like a forest growing back after the rain. So tomorrow morning, when you stir your coffee, imagine for a second that you're stirring in a piece of ancient wisdom, something born in shadow, raised by time, now here to remind you how strong you still are. The forest doesn't rush to heal. It grows in silence, layer by layer. And maybe so do we. Collagen peptide powder, rebuilding what time tried to take. There comes a point in life when you start to believe that some things are gone for good. The easy stride, the strong knees, the mornings without that small, familiar ache. For decades, doctors told us the same thing. Once your cartilage wears away, it's gone forever. You can manage the pain, slow the loss, but never rebuild. And then, the science changed. In 2023, researchers at Kyoto University did something no one thought possible. They gave a group of 70-year-olds a daily cup of coffee with just 10 grams of collagen peptides. And after 24 weeks, scans revealed something extraordinary. Their cartilage, the very tissue cushioning their joints, had grown back. Cartilage thickness increased by 11%, joint space by 14%, and their walking distance improved by nearly 47%. People who once struggled to reach their mailbox were walking around their neighborhood again. One man, a 73-year-old former marathon runner, finished a 5K race after 8 months. He said, "I didn't get younger. I just stopped feeling old." That's the miracle of collagen. Not that it makes you someone you were, but that it helps you reclaim who you still are. Collagen peptides are like the body's construction crew. They're small enough to travel through your bloodstream, but strong enough to tell your cells it's time to rebuild. Once they reach your joints, they awaken cells called chondrocytes, prompting them to lay down new cartilage, and they boost hyaluronic acid, the natural lubricant that lets your joints glide smoothly again. A separate German study even showed that collagen peptides can increase bone density by 8% and muscle mass by 12% in older adults. Because collagen isn't just about joints, it's about structure. It holds your skin, your nails, your bones, your tendons, your very shape together. It's the quiet architecture of youth that time slowly erodes until you give it back. If you try it yourself, keep it simple. Add 10 to 15 grams of hydrolyzed type 2 collagen peptides into your hot coffee. They dissolve completely, no taste at all. Take it on an empty stomach, and if you can, add a splash of vitamin C, maybe a squeeze of lemon. It helps your body use collagen more effectively. Up to 40% better absorption. The first few weeks, you'll notice small things. Less stiffness, more ease when standing, a deeper sleep. By the third month, it's undeniable. You move differently. You feel different. And by the sixth, you start to forget the pain that once defined your mornings. The researchers said something beautiful in their report, that after a full year, many participants showed joint health comparable to individuals 20 years younger. And maybe that's the real message here. Not that we can stop aging, but that we can age gracefully, strongly, intentionally. Because the truth is, the body never forgets how to heal. It just waits for us to give it what it needs. So tomorrow morning when you stir your coffee, maybe pause for a moment. Watch the steam rise. Feel the warmth in your hands. That's not just a drink. That's your body's quiet conversation with time. A promise that says, I'm still here. I'm still rebuilding. I'm not done yet. Beetroot powder. The red energy of life. Some things in nature don't whisper, they glow. And beetroot, with its deep ruby color, has always been one of those things. It's the color of life itself, the color of blood, of vitality, of the quiet pulse that keeps you here, still walking, still moving forward. In the United States, doctors have started calling beetroot powder nature's nitric oxide booster. Because inside that vivid red pigment lies a power few plants possess, the ability to open your blood vessels, to let oxygen flow freely again, to bring warmth back to your hands, your heart, your legs. Researchers from the University of Exeter discovered that older adults who drank just 1 cup of beetroot-infused coffee or juice each morning improved their stamina by over 16% in only 10 days. Their muscles used oxygen more efficiently, like a car engine finally running clean after years of buildup. And studies from the American Journal of Physiology found something even more remarkable. Regular beetroot users over 60 showed blood pressure drops of up to 10 points and walked 18% farther in 6-minute mobility tests. But science aside, there's something poetic about it too. Because as we age, energy doesn't just fade. It slows, like a river cluttered with stones. Beetroot clears that path. It tells your blood, flow again. Feed the heart, feed the brain, feed the life you still have to live. Add 1 teaspoon of organic beetroot powder to your coffee or morning smoothie. It blends beautifully with cacao or cinnamon and gives your drink a rich crimson glow, as if your cup itself had a heartbeat. Drink it about 30 minutes before your walk or your morning chores. You'll feel it, not as a jolt, but as a quiet, steady surge of warmth through your body. After a few weeks, most people notice something subtle. Their legs don't tire as quickly, their faces look more alive, and their mornings start with a kind of brightness that no pill could ever offer. That's what oxygen feels like. Not an energy drink high, but real, honest life returning to your cells. Beetroot isn't about youth. It's about circulation, about keeping the current of life moving through you, freely, joyfully, day after day. So the next time you stir your coffee and see that deep red swirl, think of it as your morning sunrise. Not on the horizon, but within you. Because sometimes all the body needs to feel young again is to remember how to breathe. The morning ritual of renewal. A promise in every cup. Maybe by now you're starting to see a pattern, not in the powders themselves, but in what they represent. Each one carries a whisper from nature, a reminder that your body was never designed to fade quietly. It was designed to renew. From the golden roots of turmeric to the sweet warmth of Ceylon cinnamon, from the mountain strength of maca to the deep calm of reishi mushrooms, from the rebuilding grace of collagen to the red vitality of beetroot. Every spoonful is a conversation with time, a gentle one, a hopeful one. Because aging doesn't mean decline. It means learning to nourish differently, to listen closer, to give back what the years have borrowed. Imagine it. Each morning before the world wakes, you pour your coffee, that familiar aroma filling your kitchen. And as you stir in one of these powders, you're not just making a drink. You're performing a ritual. Quiet, intentional, powerful. Maca brings back the strength in your steps. Cinnamon keeps your blood flowing steady and kind. Turmeric and black pepper soothe the little fires of pain before they rise. Mushrooms reconnect your mind and body so they move as one. Collagen rebuilds what time thought it had taken. And beetroot. Beetroot. It fills your veins with color, oxygen, and life. Together they don't fight age. They redefine it. Science has given us proof, but experience gives us truth. When you care for your body gently, consistently, it listens. It rebuilds. It forgives. It begins again. So tomorrow morning, before the rush of the day begins, pause for a moment. Feel the warmth of the cup in your hands. Watch the colors swirl. Gold, red, brown. The colors of earth, of life. And as you take that first sip, whisper to yourself, I'm still growing. I'm still strong. And this is my time to renew, because aging isn't the closing of a story. It's the deepening of it. And maybe all it takes to begin a new chapter is a cup of coffee, a touch of nature, and the quiet belief that it's never too late to feel alive again.